Salute to every single one of you out there. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with us. You already know what time it is. This is Fresh Off the Boat podcast. Is your boy Tobi. Kelly and Kojo are not in today. So I'm holding down the fortress and everything. You know what I'm saying? Listen. Salute to you guys out there. If you've not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Subscribe to the channel, watch the videos, leave a like, leave a comment, share it. Tell a friend to tell a friend, or tell an enemy to tell a friend, because they got friends too. Listen, I've got a special one today. Yeah, whenever this gentleman turns up, he is someone that I call a friend. He's somebody that I call my big brother and everything, yeah? When I need any question, when I need any clarification within the industry, yeah, he's the person that I always call. And anytime I call, he picks up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited whenever he's around and everything. You know, I'm not going to waste anyone's time, and I'm not going to waste his time. The man I'm talking about is Shopsidu, a.k.a. Ade Shop. Hey.
My brother.
What's happening, my bro?
You know, this is home front.
I know.
I'm always excited to come here. This is family. This is,
For sure.
Whenever I get the call to come in, anytime, I'm always happy to come here. We have incredible conversations.
Listen.
That always shake the,
shake the internet, bro.
Absolutely.
And shake the culture as well, for real.
Shakes the atmosphere.
Yeah, for real. You know what I'm saying? I salute you for coming, though, for real.
Thank
you look
man.
good, bro.
I appreciate you, bro. I told you, we got to get in the gym.
Listen, that gym is looking good on you, man.
Because you see the work that we're doing with, blessed to have the opportunity to host a lot of concerts and events and just travel around Europe, connecting with different promoters from Spain to Italy to Germany to Holland to Paris. And you have to be fit.
Oh, shit. I see a lot of jumping around on stage and everything, bro. That's cardio right there.
So that's a lot of cardio. I'm also lucky that I don't drink or smoke.
Yeah. You know what? I'm surprised, bro. Because I remember the time, right, that you came around to the crib. I think like the first time you came around to the crib and everything. Obviously, we had drinks.
Yeah.
You were like, yo, you gonna drink? Like, you were like, nah, bro, I don't drink, bro. I was shocked.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in the industry, it's...
Yeah, people drink, people smoke, and people...
How do you deal with the temptation, though?
There's no temptation because I already know who I am. I know what works for me. I know what has worked for me all my life.
Yeah.
So there's no temptation. Once in a while, I have a few very bad friends. But the funny thing is, they're the female ones. They're the ones that always will say, "Oh, take one shot now. Mix this cocktail. Try this." They're always the ones that will push, but that would just like encourage you to have a little sip or whatever. But other than that, a lot of the guys,
they're chill.
And then what I found out, especially earlier on at university, maybe drinking a little bit here and there, the hangovers were crazy.
Oh yeah.
And then apart from that, I see a lot of people get energized when they're high or when they're drunk. When I'm tipsy, I'm weak.
It slows you down.
I want to sleep. Yeah.
It slows you down. Yeah.
So it doesn't give me any boost. Yeah. It takes away from me.
And you're like the energy card.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm the opposite of that dog. So I'm like, nah, man, this doesn't work for me.
You know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I saw your post the other day at Pastor Tobi's thing, bro. You looking good on that suit, bro.
Shout out to my brother, Yemi James, the stylist. The funny thing is, he had arranged that suit for me about 2 months ago. He wanted me to wear it to an African event. I said to an African award ceremony, I was like, bro, I'm like the super Afro pop culture person. You want me to go to an African award ceremony dressed in a English dinner suit?
That's long.
Come on, that's colonization.
Yeah, that's long, right?
That ain't working. And he didn't get it. So he was like, why didn't? And when the invite came for Pastor Tobi's event and said black tie, I messaged him, I sent him the invitation and was like, this is the perfect suit for that.
Mate, how were you jumping around that suit, bro? I guess that's the question, because I was watching on my Instagram and that, I was like, you could move around in them suits and that, like, what is going on?
Every single person that saw me from Pastor Tobi to Davido was like, yo, man, I like your suit, man.
That suit
I like,
good, bro.
And I think Shout out to Solomon Savage as well, one of the most popular promoters here in the UK that did Kiss Daniel and stuff. He hit me up. He was like, just looking at you and looking at everybody around us, I think it's very important that we have events like this for us in the black culture where we can really dress up and come out and just celebrate each other. Because what we've been doing for the last 15, 20 years is really pushing the culture, promoting, this whole Afrobeats thing, celebrating a lot of people, but forgetting to celebrate us.
Oh, that's a fact.
So
that's a fact.
Every time you see us, and I mean, the promoters, the PR execs, the media personalities, every time you see us in work mode.
Yeah.
T-shirt, jeans,
joggers,
hustling.
Yeah.
We never get to see each other in our Sunday best.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so he was like, listen, we need to start doing this where at least once a year.
Especially in London, because I mean, London is like Afrobeat stomping ground.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying?
London is responsible for a lot of successes around Afrobeats, not only for projecting Afrobeats to the rest of Europe and America. I say all the time that outside of Africa, London is the most important market.
Why do you think that is, though?
Because number one, we were blessed with a lot of Nigerians are in the UK. In London.
And also they are still tapped into their roots as well.
And a lot of those are direct immigrants.
Yeah.
Shout out to my brother Henry, Afrobeats Roma. There's a saying that we always, when we joke about with each other, like 15 years ago, 16 years ago, when we're promoting Afrobeats in the UK, we're basically selling to immigrants.
On God.
It was not to those that were born and raised in the UK. It was like people like myself that had emigrated from Nigeria, emigrated from Ghana.
Yeah.
Those were the audiences that we were trying to captivate.
Yeah.
Those were the audiences that you were marketing to. Those were the audiences we were playing the music to. We weren't even thinking about anybody outside of that. We had to play to those who had freshly come off the boat.
Oh, that's a fact. That's a fact.
That basically just freshly came from Africa.
Yeah.
They were still listening to their Two Face, their P Square, their Style Plus. They were still listening to Paul Play Dyro. They were still listening to Timaya, all those artists.
Yeah.
So whenever we got here and we had parties or we had concerts, these were the people that we were expecting to come.
That's a fact.
So the diaspora market at that time, the initial immigrants were very, very strong with their culture. And it was through that set of people, that group of people, did we slowly start to, evolve and bring other people in.
Yeah.
Now, 16 years down the line, we're all parents now. I've got an 18-year-old who's in university. So she basically saw me at the beginning of Afrobeats. I took her to interviews where she's a baby there. I remember, shout out to Audu Maikori. She was like a baby waiting around us. I was interviewing Ice Prince. Maybe like 15 years ago, she was like 3 years old then. He gave her like $100. It was like, bro, your patience, you just waited for daddy for the whole 3-4 hours whilst I was interviewing.
That's dope.
She used to come with me to the studio, Factory 78 Studios, while I'm interviewing the likes of Iceberg Slim. Iceberg till tomorrow always asks me for my daughter.
Oh, that's dope.
Because she was there for 4 hours. Waiting around as a baby. So now they are the teenagers who have grown with the Afrobeats. But before them, it was me and you, the immigrants.
That's it, bro. Why doesn't Afrobeat have events like that, bro? Because as you were just talking right now, I said, listen, we don't have
throwback,
something like a ball, like a ball night, end of the year or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Where who is who in the culture, everyone comes out just like you said on their Sunday best, suits, gown, you know what I'm saying? Whether we do exclusive or however we want to do it, for it to look great.
I think
glamorous.
I think the award ceremonies in Nigeria were supposed to be that. But one of the problems that those award ceremonies started to have was that some of the top celebrities and A-listers started to boycott them. They didn't want to come because they weren't winning awards. They didn't see it as
the politics and that.
Yes. Whereas that's really what we need to desensitize, our celebrities, their mentality and their minds. That you go into an award ceremony is not only because you were nominated or you're about to win an award. It's actually an end-of-year party.
An end-of-the-year party
for the last 1 year that everybody is putting.
Everyone come together.
Everybody comes together. You see some of the friends that you haven't seen in a while. Collaborations can happen from there. Business deals can happen from there.
That's a fact.
You come there to celebrate yourself, your colleagues, and enjoy some of the efforts that we put in. Once we start to see those award ceremonies as a annual getting together of the people that are really doing the heavy lifting and pushing this culture together, I think we'll start to really see those things. But shout out to the actors. AMVCA is...
They're killing it.
Bro, like, we look at the amount, the actors and actresses, the amount of detail to their outfits. The women look incredible. The men come out in style.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Every year.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I don't even follow it, but I follow it because of how these Funke Akideles, Toyin Abrahams, and all of these incredible actors and actresses come out for the AMVCA.
Yeah.
And that mentality that Nollywood has is what we have to find a way to replicate with Afrobeats.
Absolutely, bro, absolutely. Bro, you know what, I was watching that event.
Yes.
Right? And one question that I want to ask you, what's Pastor Tobi like? Because you hear so many things about him online and everything. Obviously, I've never met him and all that. You know him and all that. And obviously, when you hear pastor, you always think about the conventional type thing, right?
Yeah.
How is he?
Okay.
Because he feels very comfortable in places where everyone is drinking, everyone is, the music is playing and everything, and he's calm and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How is he as a person?
So my first encounters with Pastor Tobi was basically interviews. I interviewed him because I saw that interview. I also wanted to find out really about this guy. I've seen documentaries on YouTube. I've heard so many things on social media, but I was intrigued. And I requested an interview, and he was very comfortable saying he was going to come and answer any question. So I was like, okay, this guy, he's ready to really face the difficult questions. And at that first meeting, what I found out was that, yes, this is somebody that is a pastor, but his own methods of pastoring his people was completely different to the conventional way. He was more about young people. He was more about people that had gone through different parts in their lives, people that were reformed, gang members and street people. He had come from Peckham. I think that's where the church, I think that's where it began from.
Yeah.
So that was my first initial contact with him, and that's how...
You guys
and
the
then
connection.
Exactly, and then I interviewed him again, and it was, again, the reason why I interviewed him again was because I had seen a video on social media, I don't know if you've seen it, where he was walking with maybe 300 guys dressed in suits.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I was like, yo, I'd never seen that type of image, black men in London before.
Yeah.
I hadn't. And I was intrigued to say, what's going on? Of course, we see all the stuff that we see on social media with regards to him. But what I have grown to understand, especially in the music business, especially in the entertainment industry, is that you ensure that you treat people based on how they treat you and how you find them.
Yeah, you met them. Yeah.
So not what the third party said, not what the extra person said, what they actually delivered to your table.
Absolutely.
So this industry and my experience there are people in this industry that I would personally not even want to be in the same room with, but I have close associates, like people like Michael Tubes, who is in constant relationship and business and friendships with those people. But I see these ones like, nah, man, this one, I don't even want to be near. This is evil. But to him, that person is good.
Yeah.
But you also have to respect that.
You gotta respect
the only reason why he's comfortable is because that's the way that person treats them.
He knows them.
My experience with that person
might not be pleasant.
It's not the same experience he has.
Yeah.
So you have to ensure that you treat people based on how they present to you.
Yeah.
And when a friend of mine asked me, he's like, "Oh man, you guys are Pastor Tobi's." I said, a lot of the people that were there, apart from his church congregation, a lot of the other celebrities or people that you know that were there, basically they're based on their individual relationships with him.
Yeah.
That's it. And if you see the way David spoke, you would know that David is not speaking out of just a man that. They have a genuine relationship.
Yeah. He comes to his house and everything.
He had, helped counsel him during a very difficult time in his life. He was very public about that. And their relationship built and blossomed out of that. So
that's dope.
Yeah, so a lot of us that showed up there was basically individual encounters with him. When we got the invitation, we just went to celebrate that.
That's dope, man. That's dope. That's dope. I see we're just talking on that, yeah? Obviously, you said David.
Yeah.
You didn't say Davido, right? Which shows how personal you guys are.
Absolutely.
And also, you were saying my relationship with some of these people is different and all this kind of stuff, right?
Facts.
And also, you said 15 years ago, 20 years ago, like you saw some of these artists grow and all that, right?
Yeah.
So something came into my mind because I don't want to throw you a curveball, but feel free to answer this if you can. When the whole situation with Davido, Wizkid was going on online and all that, right? Obviously, a lot of people had so much to say about that, including myself, right? But what I said was, this was on the podcast. So I said, why is it that, all the media people, right, are finding hard to call out the individual artists, but they talk about, the fans, the trolls, all those things, while actually these are the guys that are tweeting from their Twitter. Right? So I wanted to ask you,
how do you maintain those?
How do you maintain those relationships, right? And do you see them apart from the character online?
1,000%.
Right.
Yesterday night, I was with Wizkid at Tyla's event. One of my favorite DJs currently right now.
Right.
And I was there I was leaving and I saw Wizkid's stylist. Wizkid is about to park, and I'm like, listen, man, we've all been excited about the new single that's come out. Let me quickly wait and say hello to my goat before I get in the car and get out of there.
Yeah.
And it was, whenever I see either Wiz or David, these guys that there's a genuine connection, watch the video. When they say hello, they're asking for family. How's the family?
Yeah.
How's your kids? So it's beyond that. And all of this is because of the individual relationship we have. Going back to the example I gave with you, the two of them might find it difficult to get along or have a connection. Of course, the whole industry would rather for both of these greats to be together because the benefits for our culture will be immense. We don't even want to talk about that. However, you don't know what their personal situation is.
Yeah.
And because you don't know what their personal situation is, you cannot stick yourself in the middle of that. You see them as individuals. I see David as one of the most genuine, kind, down-to-earth entertainers we've ever had in our industry. Yeah. I see Wizkid as one of the greatest leaders, culture shifters of our whole entire industry that we've had in the last 20 years. And both these guys recognize their differences. They know their greatness. Yeah. Wizkid knows his greatness. Yeah. David knows his greatness. Yeah. And both of them know the impact and the benefits that they bring to the table. Why they don't see eye to eye, sadly, is between them. Yeah. And how you also have to maintain your relationship is that you ensure that whenever you're with either, there's no conversation
about the other person.
Unless it's positive. Unless it's like, come on, Bro, man.
Do you think that that's probably? Do you think that that's the reason why the both of them feel comfortable relating with you, right?
Of course.
Knowing that you're cool with the other person.
Oh,
and that.
they know that
Because
respect.
I saw in the clip and all that where you posted, you say, "Yo, I'm flying to Atlanta," something like that.
Yes.
So you're gonna be hosting
with Davido Away Fest. I'm going to celebrate with Davido on his birthday at the Away Festival. I've made this clear before in the past that the reason I went to the Grammys 2024 was at least 80% to go and celebrate Davido.
That's a fact.
1,000%. The reason I spent thousands of dollars to get on a flight to go to LA for the Grammys 2024 was because of the possibility that Davido was probably going to walk away with something. And the reason why I was that moved to do that was because of the difficulties and the hardships and where he had come from in the last 2 years to where he got to in February 2024, from having the sad thing that happened to him, leaving the game for that long, to coming back with anthems that completely shook the industry from February 2023 to February 2024, having 3 nominations. I just felt like, listen, and then Burna Boy was nominated 3 times, and I'm like, yo, I have to be at LA.
That's a fact.
So for me to feel that strongly, to deep hands in my pocket and get on a flight to go out there, just to be out there celebrating
to see for
his
yourself.
Greatness, shows the amount of respect and love that I have for him.
Yeah.
And the same goes, for Wizkid. I think it's obvious the love that people like myself and how we see Wizkid.
That's a fact.
Especially for his game-changing moment. Game-changing moment. Stepping into the culture was a game-changing moment for us. We'd seen the rest. We've seen the greats, your P-Squares, your Timayas, your Don Jazzy's, More Hit Records, all of these guys. And then all of a sudden, like I was saying, we were selling and attacking the immigrants. But when Wiz stepped into the game, he brought the kids along, the people that were born and raised here. That was the first teenage star that 5,000 capacity.
Yeah.
You would have had any other teenage star that was buzzing or whatever, but this guy touched down London at the HMV Apollo, bro.
Killed it.
Go. So those type of connections, you don't lose it. Now, when we go to what the fans are doing, I've always been critical of both fans because a lot of the people on Twitter are consistently looking for negativity to spark conversations.
Did you see what one of the fans did to Tiwa Savage?
Yes, and I commented on, I think it was Gossip Mill, shout out Gossip Mill. That was where he posted it, and then I commented that how do you want her not to promote the music that she had released because Wizkid has a song out? Even Wizkid would love for her to promote. Wizkid was actually one of the people that encouraged Ruger to release his song on the same day.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, I saw that tweet.
Yeah, because they are all in. The reason why we're here today is a thriving industry with successful artists, not because of just one person. From the Tiwa Savages, the producers, every single person's efforts is why we're here. So if we're starting to use the strength of, our collective fan base or whatever to denigrate other people, bring them down, attack them, bully them, pressure them, then we're losing sight of exactly where we are.
Absolutely.
And that's why I always, when I call, instead of calling the artists out, I go at the fan bases. And I'll tell you why. Burna Boy fan bases, I say this right here, for the first time anywhere in the world. Outsider fan bases, when you post anything Burna Boy, do you know what they do?
What?
They just come in there to come and celebrate him. Wow. Go and check. Anytime I post a video of Burna Boy, all the comments are just fans coming in to say ODG, nobody better, nobody better, stands alone in his own lane. They don't even bother talking about anybody else. Nobody else.
So why does the other fans do it?
But the other fans, whether it's 30BG or Wizkid FC, when you post Davido,
they talk about
Wizkid FC is in the comments saying, well, this other person is not good enough. When you post Wizkid, 30 BG will come here and say this mid song, this. But Burna Boy fans, the outsiders, they have their blinkers on. They're not even checking for anybody else. They actually just want to come and say thank you for celebrating our guy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do you think it's because the beef is still fresh?
That's one. But I also think, I think because the beef is fresh, because sometimes the fan base is a reflection of
what's happening,
the personalities. And the way Burna Boy has just put the blinkers on and just focusing on his own work, his fans as well have decided to follow suit. Let's just focus on our guy. And whatever it is he's doing, we just go out there to celebrate him. But again, David and Wiz are essential to the movement that we've had for the last 7-8 years. The reason why those names, I don't care whether they wake you up in your sleep.
The both of them are like this.
When they say, hey, your top 3... you're going Wiz. You're always going to mention. Once you mention Wiz, you're going Davido. So there's always that subconscious, competition within the fan bases, trying to ensure that their artist is recognized the loudest. And again, you also have to give the fan bases a shout out,
because they are doing what they are doing.
Because I don't know what the stats are or the numbers are, but when Davido dropped his recent single featuring YG Mali, the numbers went crazy on Spotify and stuff. When Wizkid drops Piece of My Heart and then now Dance, the numbers are blowing up as well. And that is purely not only because of the listenership, organic listenership, but because of the direct impact of your 30 BG or your Wizkid FC. That's why those numbers are crazy. I just posted a tweet from Ruger where he's actually giving a special shout out to the FCs because he could also feel the impact of, and that's not in his streams alone. His social media is getting reaction.
Of course.
On Twitter, because anybody else that released a song at the time Wizkid released a song, they're getting the same type of treatment that Tiwa Savage got.
That's a fact.
But because Wizkid had retweeted Ruga and responded to him.
Everyone kind of stepped back.
He's like, all right, man, the boss says, the boss says he's good. The boss said he's good, then it's good.
He's good.
But if the boss don't say nothing about you, we're coming for you.
They come for you.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
The competition is nice, right? Yes. The friendly competition. I'm for, friendly competition and everything, but then obviously I'm not for the disrespect type.
Yeah. The disrespect is what I don't like. The negativity is what I don't like. The consistent attacks is what I don't like. The spamming people's pages with all sorts of negativity and threats and bullying is what I don't like. Yeah. But again, when you think about it, a lot of the people that are doing the bullying and the threats and the constant harassment on social media are some of these folks that in some cases haven't even had 3 square meals today. A lot of them are living in terrible conditions. Some of them you're attacking people that are living lives that are 2,000 or 2 million% better than yours.
But also, I think it's a thing that kind of gives them joy, happiness, whatever. You go, at least
it gives them an opportunity that they exist in.
Yeah, exactly that.
So that's why I ignore a lot of social media comments, and I try to speak to some of these artists to do the same thing too.
Yeah, I hear that.
Just ignore them, man. Just leave them alone, man. These guys ain't gonna do nothing. Like, come on. Davido spent over $1 million or whatever buying 2 cars in the last 3 weeks. This is somebody that in 48, I think it was 72 hours, was on a private jet about 11 times. Lagos to Atlanta, Atlanta to London, London to Abuja, Abuja to Lagos, Lagos to Abuja, Abuja to Paris, Paris to back to Atlanta in 3 days. And you are on social media attacking that person.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you must be mad.
You said this right now, You said this right now. And I walked into the barber shop the other day to get a shape up. And guess the argument these people were having.
Yeah. Who's richer?
Who is richer between Davido and Don Jazzy?
That's why Two-Face said, Cuckoo Google am.
You know what I'm saying?
In the new single by shout out to the legend Two-Face.
I swear to God, I walked in, they were having.
Can you imagine?
I'm talking about a heated conversation, right, about who's richer, Davido, because I think he got the Cybertruck, innit? You get what I'm saying?
But listen, if the guys in the barbershop are watching this podcast, let me just say this to you now. Nobody has Don Jazzy's money.
Strictly from music.
Nobody, I repeat, nobody in the entertainment business, music business, from Nigeria or anywhere around Nigeria in Africa has Don Jazzy's money.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 1,000%.
But I'm not surprised though. That's the reason why a lot of artists, if you ask them, a lot of artists will prefer to go into the managerial role, right, than actually be an artist.
I think it's not even, because I don't think Don Jazzy's successes come from the managerial aspect. He's he's a businessman, he's an entrepreneur who invested into record label business well over a decade ago. Yeah. Mo Hit Records was Don Jazzy and the Band, a record label that signed the Prince, that signed One Day Code, that signed, where Dr. Sid. Exactly. Yeah. And when that separation happened, he reinvested, looked for investors, and reinvested in creating another record label by the name Mavens that came with the first era of One Day Code, Tiwa Savage, Korede Bello, and Ricardo Banks. Then 2.0 came with Rema, Ira Star, Crayon, and the rest of them. So this is somebody who has continuously invested in building music careers. And if you look at music careers in terms of business, each musician is a company, is an independent company.
That's a fact.
Rema is an independent
one
business
of the biggest
company.
artists.
Is an independent business company that has a CEO, a press marketing department, blah, 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 that's Rema. Then you have, Ira Star. That's another company. Then you have Crayon. You've got Magix. All these are companies under Maven Records that Don Jazzy, the umbrella company, founded. So this is an entrepreneur who has continuously risked his finances.
And he's still eating from more hits. He's still eating from the back catalogs and all that kind of stuff.
So nobody, for those barbers and anybody that wants to argue,
I'm telling you, I walked in there.
Has Don Jazzy's money.
I walked in there, and it's not only Nigerians that were there. There were a couple Nigerians, Ghanaians, Caribbeans. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And like a big ass argument. Yeah. They were like, nah, this people say it's Don Jazzy, this people say Davido, you know what I'm saying? And everyone had their own points and everything, you know what I'm saying? But it's different.
You see Don Jazzy, very dark black man, put it out there that Don Jazzy gave him 100 million naira.
Just on the low.
On the low. There are people, including myself, that Don Jazzy has touched personally. Ridiculous.
That's crazy.
And we've seen people like Mr. Macaroni. The list goes on. That this guy comes out of his way to try to support for nothing.
That's crazy.
Like on the low. He don't want no credit. He don't want no conversation. Doesn't want anybody to know nothing. He don't want nothing from you. He's just saying, listen, man, thank you for all the support you've given me. And here's how I can support your business, whatever it is. And he's done tons of that to all those content creators in Nigeria, all those influencers in Nigeria, and a host of others, including myself.
Listen, that's...
So, trust me.
He's different. He's different.
Even Davido was telling me that the kind of conversations him and Don Jazzy have, like...
It's different.
Nobody has.
It's different.
His kind of money.
Yeah, man. That's crazy, bro. But let's go into the music thing, man.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about the whole Wizkid, Piece of My Heart, and the dance and everything? And what should we expect from the new album? Have you heard the album?
So, I haven't heard the album, but of course I heard snippets from DJ Tunes like the rest of us did. First of all, when Piece of My Heart came out, I was very public in saying that was for the Essence Warriors. That is another record following in the sounds from the other side, following in the Made in Lagos kind of sound where Wizkid is in his grown man, sexy vibe and just talking to the ladies worldwide. Success is essence in America. That's for them. That's for your. But when I saw how Wizkid moved in December, when he went to Lagos, went to the slums, went to Surulere, went to go hang out with, the local guys, listening to traditional music. He went to Owambe's. He did all the. When I saw that, I knew at that time
he was trying to tap into something.
Was back in his source.
Yeah.
So a lot of us, as fans of Wizkid, have always asked for the old Wizkid back. Every time. And the only way you know this is whenever Wizkid is in concert and DJ Tunes goes, this is that time where we go back to that Superstar album, that Ayo album, that Babala. I'm talking old school Wizkid fans. Is anybody ready for Wizkid? And he goes, no lane, Oju Elegba Shita, bam. That section right there changes the whole concert. The Tottenham concert for Wizkid, that section, to me, was the concert. Because that's when everybody in the stands got up. That's when every single fan gets emotional. We hold our chests when we're singing. Because those are the songs that really hit us. Yesterday, I was speaking to my assistant. Let me have a look now. I think I sent him, all right, this. I told him, I said, send me a list of 20 records, dance floor records by Wizkid. I just want to remind myself.
Yeah, just feel it.
Soko, Joro, Daddy Yo, Show You the Money, Karo, Bakurumo, No Lele, Energy, Ginger, Maya, Babanla, Azonto, Tease Me. You listen to all those.
Yeah.
Whenever he gets into those type of records, the whole place goes crazy. Everybody goes mad.
Do you think that that's prime Wizkid?
Absolutely. But I always think that prime Wizkid, because of his genius, is still there. But because of maturity and his interests, that's changed now. He's now a father, he's enjoying himself, he's calmer, he's cool, he's very quiet. He doesn't like noise or anything. This is the kind of music he listens to when he smokes, so he's making that type of music. He's a ladies' man. Ladies love Wizkid.
Yeah.
So he's servicing that fan base. However, when he went back home, and he was going into the Makoko, he was going into the Surulere, he was touching those people, he was doing all those things. And listening to how long we as fans have cried for the old Wizkid back. 6, 7 years. I'm sure since 2019, for sure, we've been asking for those dance floor records. He decided to listen. For me, this is one of the moments where you appreciate a musician or a creative. Because one of the hardest things for a creative is to be able to tap back into their old source.
Yeah.
Because your life changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You make money, you become a superstar. You don't have those experiences at the show you the money, at the tease me, where you're hungry, where you're hustling, pull over, hey, park, baby, oh, pull over. You don't have that energy anymore. Now he's flying, he's probably never flown normal commercial flights in 7, 8 years. Now you're flying business class, private jets. Your experiences are different. So going back, and I say that to say this, Fireboy said every time people tell him, we want the LTG Fireboy back, he always found it difficult because at those times, his experience was different. Now, he's a platinum selling singer who's toured the world, had hit records with Ed Sheeran. It's going to be difficult to tap back into what he tapped into at the beginning. Yeah. So that's Wizkid. However, sampling that dance by DJ Tunes and seeing the way social media and his fan base reacted to that.
Oh, that's
He knew that, okay, the world was ready for this. And with Peace on My Heart, he did the numbers, he's got the ladies fine, everything. But I put it up there and said, all Wizkid original fans were waiting for that, what the DJ is going to play.
Listen, let's play that dance, though.
Let's go.
That's a tune right there, bro. That's the kind of tune that you see on the album Ayo.
So that's the kind of tune doing the show you the money energy, all those times. And that's why today he had posted up that, the love is crazy, that you guys don't let me give you 2 albums now. And what I took from that a lot of people didn't take, was that I know for a fact that there are a lot of records like that that are in the hard drive that Wizkid probably wasn't thinking would ever see the night of day.
Yeah, but those are the ones that are hating.
But now with this energy, he's thinking, maybe I could just pack this one up and say, Bedu for the streets.
Yeah, that's it,
and that's going to go crazy. And I tell people, I said, even with all the playlists and all the international platforms that Peace of My Heart was going to touch and all the successes, I knew for a fact that dance was going to be the record that was going to completely change everything.
Smash yo.
Because the DJs now have something to play.
Yeah, that's a fact. And that's the reason why, And that's the reason why when people say, just like you just said right now, I honestly think this is Wizkid's prime.
Of course.
This is the thing, When I look at Wizkid, right? Wizkid is like, it's like Jordan, right? When you look at Jordan, right, in 96, and when you look at him in 98, right? In 98, he was at his peak.
He was at peak on his way down.
But he's older. When Wizkid was doing the Superstar, all the album, he's a young guy, right? He's young. People love him and everything. But I think right now he's tapped into something. It comes very easy.
So for me, once we name the top 10 active musicians, for example, and in that top 10 of those that are actually, someone asked me a question this year and said, this year has been very tough for Afrobeats. We haven't had that many tours. We haven't had that many artists running around, making things happen. We've had actually just around 10 artists. If you say, who are the artists that have moved this year? That Burna's moved, Ashake's moved, Rema's moved, Omale's moved, Thames has moved, Ruger's moved, Yemi has moved, Young John has moved. Benson has moved.
And that's about it.
Ira Star's moved. That's exactly 10. Outside of that, it's like you're going to say, Flavour has done a couple things here and there. And then you start looking around.
It's hard, man.
And in those names that I mentioned, let me mention those that have been in the game at the top of the food chain for at least 10 years or more. Burna, David, Yemi, and that's it.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's it.
Flavor,
and then you could add flavor to that. So out of the names that we mentioned that has moved this year, the rest is your Omale's, your Thames, your Rugers, your Bensons, your Young John. Those ones are Ira Star. Those ones are new school. The established artists that have been out here for 10 or more years that have really moved this year are those names that I mentioned. From David to Burna to Yemi and Flavour. For me, those guys, including your Wizkids, are in their prime.
That's a fact.
Of course, you're in your prime. Because how can you be still at top of the food chain this year, almost 10, 12, 13 years after you came out as a newbie? And you're still moving around like this. They dropped albums this year. They're on tour this year. They're doing festivals this year.
They're nominated this year.
They're nominated for awards this year. Even though this is a year that a lot of young cats have come into the game, they still haven't been able to outwork these OGs, how represent these OGs, and still, even get up to half or quarter of what these OGs are getting. So that takes me back to your Wizkid.
Yeah.
Still in his prime.
I think he's in his prime and everything.
Kiss Daniel, he's in their prime.
Yeah.
They're in their prime.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, once your time don't go, you're not in the conversation again.
You're not in the conversation.
But these guys are in the conversation.
Still in the convo.
10 years plus.
Yeah, and that's the reason why when I see people online say that he's falling off on everything, I'm like thinking, nah, bro.
Don't listen to those ones.
Saying?
Those ones are looking for attention.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think so.
Those ones are looking for attention. One of the hardest things to do, like I said, is to listen to your fan base and go back and try to deliver for your audience, regardless of where you are spiritually, where you are artistically, and where
psychologically,
and maturity. What maturity? And I'm saying to people as well, right now, let's try to get all the dance records we can get from Wizkid right now, because
before it goes back to the ladies and that,
because he's about to be a dad to a princess.
Oh yeah.
And this is a guy that's a father to 4 young boys.
Yeah.
And now he's about to have
a girl.
You know
that does something to you.
What? Wizkid is good. The next project after his princess arrives is all love songs.
Yeah, that does something to you. Oh God, it definitely does something to you.
Listen, he's not even going to listen to anybody again. That princess is going to lock him down.
Yeah.
That there are different parts of his heart that's going to be unlocked.
Oh yeah, that does
that's
something
never been unlocked before.
Absolutely.
When you have a daughter.
All my guys that I know, that got daughters and everything, they tell you, bro, that's different.
It changes everything. For a guy, it changes everything in your life. The way you see life, the way you hear music, the way you move. Watch, everything changes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're somebody like Wiz, who's been a father to boys.
Yeah.
Who's only known boys that want to play football, want to play with toy guns and stuff.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes into the house and the smell of the house is different.
It's different.
The dolls around, this makeup. Come on, man.
Yeah. Off the top of the dome, off the top of your dome and everything, because we had this conversation here with the boys and that, right? Yeah. How many classics do you think Wizkid have? Classic albums. And what album would you say is his classic album?
Superstar.
Or classics?
Superstar.
Is a classic.
Bang, classic. Ayo. Bang. Classic. And without doubt, Made in Lagos.
Made in Lagos. So you think he's got 3 classics out of...
Guaranteed.
Out of how many albums does he have? 1, 2,
Guaranteed.
3, 4, 5. 5 albums.
Yeah, he has More Love, Less Lego, and then he has sounds from the other side.
Yeah.
But without doubt, Superstar, Ayo, and definitely Made in Lagos was a classic.
I've always said Ayo and Made in Lagos,
Superstar.
Yeah.
The reason why we're Wizkid fans is because of Superstar.
No, I like some of the songs and everything.
It's not about we worship the songs. What are you talking? Brother, there is no DJ in the whole world that plays Afrobeats music. The minute you go, we hear bam, Oju Elegba Shita, bam. Ask your sister, the party changes.
Oh yeah. That song is a classic,
remember,
bro.
Remember, there's Tease Me there. There's Don't Door there. Sitting in the corner, Don't Door. Tease me, baby. That's where Bakurumo, Funke, Baba. I've named 4 classic records. You only need 1 in an album.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Hey. No, I hear that. I guess. And to me, that's the reason why Evolution is so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Because when I look at Wizkid, this is my favorite,
era of Wizkid. So you are an essence warrior. You're a danger to us.
No. From Ayo. From Ayo.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? From Ayo, like, this is my favorite. Now, the superstars and everything, I love it. You know what I mean? I love the dance records and everything, but I just love that smooth, chilling, speaking to the ladies.
You're an essence warrior,
bro.
You are a danger
to the society.
To the real Wizkid fans. You are one of the people you are one of those people that made those O2 Arena tickets sold out that some of us couldn't get tickets.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You know what I mean? But that's the thing though. That's the reason why I can't stand people that say that More Love, Less Ego.
Yeah. It's a dope album.
That's
a dope album.
What?
Yeah, but the energy that we got from More Love, Less Ego came from Wizkid himself. There was a feeling that he didn't put energy into promoting that album.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll give you an example. I sat down in the car with Michael Tubes, and he was talking about the album, and I said, listen, I'm going to play you this album, song after song, and I want you to tell me if this album is a bad album. And I started playing song after song.
Sonically,
By the time I got to 5 songs, he was like, I'm not gonna lie, man, this album's actually dope.
That's my point.
I said, unfortunately, the energy that people got was that Wiz didn't promote that album, and it was almost like a throwaway album. So the fans felt, and he had said at the time that he had another album, so fans felt like this was just a bunch of songs he put together and just, let me just keep people quiet. But it was a really good album.
Yeah.
And that fell on deaf ears. So, he took his time. It was 2 years after Made in Lagos. More Love, Less Ego came in 2022.
Yeah.
Now we're down 2 years ago, 2 years down the line, and we're about to get more right.
He also did the
EP.
The EP as well.
Yeah, the EP.
Killed it.
The EP is always a good thing for Wiz because he always tries to sample sounds. That's where Soundman EP Volume 1 came from as well. Tries to change, it tries to feel where we're going and whatever. But yeah, listen, Superstar album, Ayo album, and without doubt, made in Lagos.
I hear that. I hear that. Talking about evolution,
yes.
Yeah, and albums and that, right? We are looking at Rema right now.
Yes.
Looking at Rema.
Yes.
And what this guy is becoming.
The future.
Crazy.
The present and future.
Right? He dropped the Heis album. Yeah. Everyone, obviously, it was a mixed reaction.
Of course, because he wanted to clear. I said it from the first day. I recorded the video and I posted it right after I listened to the album. That what Rema was doing is what artists do in the studio when they want you to change your ears palette. When you've been listening to something so long and they want to just change your ears, they will just play you a couple of other records that throw you off, so you're not in the mood. What Rema, because the calm down era, he also tapped into that sexy, grown record type of vibes, and he just wanted a shift from that. Because to be honest with you, a lot of us were expecting that type of vibe coming into this album. That because Calm Down is a billion stream record, this, that. So we're expecting him just to go back to that and just give us back to back. But he felt that going into that was, number one, you could have seen him coming.
From the mixtape that he did before the album, you could tell.
And then he just decided to switch it all up, man. And boom. I listen, I applaud the confidence in that young brother, the wisdom, and then the confidence in the team to also go with that.
Yeah, to allow him to do that.
Yes, because coming from a record that has generated well over $20 million for the record label, if he was directly signed to international platforms, they would have put a gun to his head to ensure he made a whole album of calm downs.
Yeah, something safe, innit?
Like, listen, let's go straight back to radio. Not Ade Macham, or whatever, not Ozeba.
Yeah.
They would never, ever want to listen to that.
Have you seen him perform that on stage?
What are you talking about? He not only released that album, but they were very intentional about how they marketed it. So they had a listening in London, a listening in Paris, a listening in New York, a listening, I believe, in Canada. And each listening was like a performance. And he introduced us at every listening to the type of energy he wanted us to react to at each and every song. Man. So by the time he toured the world promoting the album, and in Lagos, he did the same listening in Lagos. Yeah. By the time he had toured the world promoting the album and he started getting on stage, when the record comes up, every one of us knows what we're supposed to do.
I don't like to compare artists and everything, but someone who has seen like with that type of energy and that type of front is Travis Scott.
Yeah, but from the day Rema was introduced by the Prince and Mavens into social media, we already knew he was coming with a completely different swag. Remember, he was rapping in the car.
Yeah.
He was rapping in the car. He was freestyling in the car. After a while, he had a teddy bear in the car. He was rapping with that. People were criticizing him. So he's always come with swag and sauce from way over there.
Yeah.
Completely different to what we're doing
Travis Scott.
Young energy. Just the young.
Yeah, all these new guys and everything. Yeah.
Just the young, hip-hop energy.
XSS Tentacion, all them
That's
guys.
it. He's a hip hop head.
Yeah.
Rema is a rapper. He's a rapper, a melodic rapper that came up, that eventually was guided by the Prince and them to start singing Afrobeats. That was the first record I think the Prince had told me that he sang was Dumebi. And that was actually a record, I think it was Dumebi or one other record, but it was a record that was supposed to be for the Prince. So they guided him to do that, because he was like proper, he's a hip hop guy. This is a rap guy who also can just play with melodies. And they knew that if shown the way properly with his skills and his talent, they knew he could do damage to these Afrobeats.
But a lot of these young guys, right? A lot of these young guys, because I say this to say this, right? When I was listening to Thames, when she was talking to Big Boy, right? A lot of these young artists grew up on hip hop. Like a lot of them did not really grow up on the African sound like that.
Every one of us grew up on hip hop and R&B.
That's a fact.
Okay, let me show you
the P Squares of the world and all that.
Yes, we listen to P Square and stuff. So this is my playlist. So this is my search on Apple for my most recent search. The top is Rotimi. After that, okay, you've got TML Vibes, who I was just listening to, a brand new artist, incredible guy from Nigeria. Then you see Friday. After Friday, you see Jacquees. So I'm still in my R&B guy, even though I'm an Afrobeat head. I'm still not far away from my R&B. So that's what we all grew up on. We grew up on R&B and hip hop, but we also were surrounded, because subconsciously we were surrounded by the Afro side, but we just didn't pay attention because the platforms were not pushing them in our faces like that. Radio in Nigeria wasn't pushing them. Remember, we're playing 90% American music, hip hop and R&B. Television wasn't pushing them because we're watching Channel O and MTV and stuff. They were playing all the hip hop videos and co. So, and there was no internet. Subconsciously was how the Afro essence was getting into us, but where we looked to for direction and influence were influencing us with American culture.
That's a fact. But I'm not gonna lie to you, when I heard this recent Rema drop on Instagram,
the one with Sade sample,
I was so mad that
sample.
I was so mad that was not on his album. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
But that brings us back to this. If he had put that out, that would have been following in your calm down energy. And he didn't want to go with that.
He didn't want to go with that.
He wanted to, first of all, shake us out of that first and do some of the real Afrobeat stuff. Now the brother's got an international nomination at the Grammys for his album in the Best Global Album category.
That's mad.
With a 90% African sounding album.
That's crazy though. You got me, because when I think about it, I think about everything,
that's validation for what he wanted to do.
Because when I think about everything and what, people had something to say about the album. A lot of people were not feeling it. All right, some people were not feeling it. Some people were feeling it and everything. Seeing that at the Grammys and that, right? You were like, damn. So this is actually the album that now made it to the Grammys.
Listen, again, I've always said award organizations, whether in Africa or international, when credible, is an indication for you and your team to give yourself a pat on the back.
That's a fact.
When credible platforms in Nigeria or Ghana or South Africa or Kenya, and then these award organizations have the opportunity to allow a creative and their team to give themselves a pat on the back for doing something well. Rema's album was intentional from him, his team, and his wider label, that they were going to go into the African angle. They wanted to completely face the African market, because the international market is a slippery slope.
It's that.
When you target that market and you miss, you fall flat way past your African audience.
Belly first on the ground.
And remember, because you targeted them so hard, you've lost your home support. So when those you're targeting now are missed, nobody from home wants to touch you.
Yeah, that's what you're
Because you've been rejected now, you want to come back to us?
No.
No. Go back to those people you were singing for. So for him to have decided at that moment to say, nah, let's focus back home. Let's play with the sounds. Let's attack the audiences. He had the Kenyan performance. They also have some more African performances that they're about to do from South Africa to whatever that Rema and team are about to announce. He could have done so many international things. And what I said when the album came out was that Rema could have had any collaborator, international collaboration on this album, but he decided to go with Odumodu and Charlie Poppy.
Yeah.
That was intentional.
Yeah.
That was not because those were the only two he could
Of
have
course
gotten.
not. Of course not.
He could have gotten anybody
Anywhere.
in the world.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But he decided to use this album to introduce his brothers.
Those are the only two features he had on the album,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Odumodu and Charlie Poppy.
That's crazy, though. That's crazy. But listen, when I heard this song,
So this is coming out from targeting Africa and going international. Because he targeted Africa with the Heis album, but that's also taking him international, right?
Yeah.
Now this is a record that's targeting the international
Bro,
market.
Joe Budden was playing this on his.
Of course, that's a super influencer. That's not by chance.
Listen, I need this on the DSPs. Though.
That's not by chance. It's coming. That's why Joe Budden was playing that. That's not by chance. That's one of the top 10 podcasters in the world.
That's a fact.
Music influencers in the world randomly selects that and play on his podcast. You're joking. That's not by chance. You know, that's the biggest advert you can get for a record that's about to drop.
Are we in the golden age of Afrobeats?
We are.
Do you think we are in the golden age of Afrobeats? Because when you hear hip hop heads talk about hip hop, right, they always go to the 2000s and the 90s and that, right? But then, are we in our own golden age, or was the early 2000s our golden age?
No. The early 2000s was what brought us into the golden age. The golden age of Afrobeats, when people talk about that, was 2010, 2009. But when they call more hits, the introduction of your early Wizkids and Davidos and co.
Yeah.
But it brings me back to what I'm saying about them being in their prime. 10, 12, 14 years later, we're still talking Wizkid, Davido. We're still talking Tiwa Savage, Yemi, Alade. We're still talking One Day Cole. We're still talking Kiss Daniel, where Flavour and Phyno. Timaya's still hanging around. Two-Face Idibia just dropped a smash record. So we're still in that golden era of Afrobeats because we never lost those that actually kicked the doors open. We haven't lost them. They're still active. They're still active. I was speaking to my friend yesterday, and I said, Flavour and Phyno has been a big musician since at least 2006, 2007.
He's one of the guys that is so underrated.
How can you underrate a monster?
Yeah.
And look at Flavour and Phyno now. 2024, Flavour and Phyno is doing the OVO Arena. 2024, Flavour and Phyno is headlining Rototom Festival in Spain.
I know when Flavour was in Enugu.
Exactly.
I know when
MC Loaf died.
Yeah,
I know when MC Loaf died, when Flavour was still emotional about losing MC Loaf, when he moved into Lagos and started to make music in Lagos. I remember all those moments.
Even this guy that raps, his name was just in my head right now. He just dropped an album, the light skinned guy from the guy from Enugu as well.
Phyno.
All them boys are Enugu boys.
So Phyno has been around.
He's been around
since 2002, 2004.
He's been around.
Exactly. So if we're talking golden era, we've mentioned names that were there at the turning point for Afrobeats, and they're still active at A-list superstar. I was still with Phyno in Germany a couple of weeks ago. This brother's just dropped an album that's about to shift the culture too. Incredible hit records.
Why do you think them guys don't get their flowers like they deserve?
Because they don't come out enough.
Because
you cannot be a monster in the cave and expecting people in other villages and other places to be scared of you.
Yeah, that's a fact.
The Warriors have to go out and play.
But Phyno is moving around now.
So that's the thing. You know, Phyno's out, moving around now. Flavor's out, moving around now. And through social media, where some of us are trying to whine Olamide to be around as well. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, but Olamide is making too much money behind the scenes.
Have you seen the amount of verses Olamide has put out?
Did he hear the song he did with what's his name?
Ross.
What's the name of that song again?
Ross, Habibi, Hello Habibi. Bro, that's even by the side. That's his record. Do you know how many collaborations, verses Olamide has put in the culture in the last 2 months alone? This, in my opinion now, and I posted it on social media, Olamide 2024 is in the Lil Wayne 2010 to 2014 era. That's a mouthful, man. Bro, I'm telling you, brother, go out there right now.
Mixtape Wayne.
Where he was dropping verses for everybody. Yeah. In the last 3 weeks, Olamide has given everybody from CK to Alade to Ayo. Bro, the verse... Go on his Apple or go on his Spotify and see how many collaborations that brother has, man. Olamide right now, in my opinion, is the hottest act in Afrobeats. That's crazy, right?
On the low, though.
I'm telling you, exactly. So he's doing it from the microphone, from the comfort of his studio, but he's touching everybody. Olamide's got a verse on every record. He just dropped yesterday another record with Peruzzi. On the same Friday, he dropped 2 collaborations. One with Peruzzi, one with Alade, being a featured artist. 2 banging videos. Come on, man. All we need is him to come out now. What he is building now, 2025, if the GOAT, Olamide Bado, is ready to come out and play, the culture is... we're desperate for him.
It's going to be tight.
We're desperate for him now.
It's going to be tight.
We're desperate now because he's showing up where we don't expect. He's giving verses to new artists, to established artists, to superstar artists, to international artists. He's dropping verses, showing up in videos whilst he's orchestrating careers. Ashake, Fireboy, Ayomath, the list goes on.
But that's hard though, isn't it? Because that's like you're talking about Young Money with Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj, and everything. Bro,
okay, so
this guy has. I'm talking about,
brother. Listen,
I'm talking about A-list killers.
Listen,
Fireboy, Ashake.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say when you said Young Money and Lil Wayne and Drake and co. Fireboy with Peru sold multi-platinum records in America.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Ashake has been the fastest rising Afrobeats artist that we've seen in the culture. He dropped 3 back-to-back #1 albums in 3 years.
That guy cannot miss even if he tried.
Went from a club performance in 2022 to selling out Brixton Academy 3 nights in a row, to 2023 at the O2 Arena, to 2024 touring arenas in America and Europe.
He cannot miss even if he tried.
Ashake went from being a relative unknown in 2021, December, dropping 1 hit single, Omokwe with Olamide, to 2024 becoming an established artist that has over 30 hit records that he could perform on stage. And all of that was the workings of the great Bado.
But then, do you want him? But then, do you want him to come out full time?
We want him to come out. We need Bado. I
think I prefer this whole drop your feature here.
The street needs Bado. I tell you this. Olamide Bado, shout out to Smade. We can always confirm with Smade. Olamide Bado was the first and only artist until Wizkid started blowing up arenas and stuff, that every single venue Olamide performed in London, we had almost the same number of people outside trying to get in.
Shit.
It's on YouTube. Go on YouTube and type Olamide in London.
Yeah.
You see different videos. At HMV Apollo, 5,000 capacity, we needed the police to come and cordon off the streets and push people away. At the Troxy in London, we needed the police to come and cordon off the streets and push people away. It's on YouTube. At the Building 6, at the O2, we needed the police to come and cordon off and stop people from rushing the door. We stopped performances for over 1 hour. I had to rush Olamide and Phyno on stage to start performing so the audience could calm down. The only ever artist that's ever done that, whether Nigerian or anywhere else in Africa. The culture needs him back.
Yeah.
We need him back on the road.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So one of the problems we have is that we don't share information and we're not educating the young fans and the young people about our history enough. And that's why people like myself, you know, and other fans that have found themselves blessed and lucky to have witnessed the trajectory of this culture must continue to be excited about this culture and speak about it, because the information we have can change the way people are perceived.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And unless we share that information and we teach our people, we will get people on Twitter that are talking rubbish.
Yeah, we're going to be stagnant. Yeah,
people will be on Twitter talking rubbish.
And it's one of them, and it's those people that don't know what they're talking about, that
are the loudest.
They are the loudest.
The people that have information, that have experience, we experienced the trajectory. I was there. Do you know what it feels like to be an active player in a culture shifting moment? Not many people around the world would experience that.
Some people would die to
be a part of that. To witness things in the background. To see an Adekunle Gold at the beginning. To see a Yemi Alade at the beginning. To see a Tiwa Savage go back home. To see the band go back to Lagos with Don Jazzy and come back to the UK for the first time and appear on national television here, going to surprise young kids in Woolwich. You know, those moments, if we don't share it, people will always come out and try to say they're first to do something. You got to let them know. Olamide was in HMV Apollo as far back as 2015 or 16.
Killing it.
Olamide was in the Troxy as far back as 2015. He was in Building 6 as far back as 2017. This brother was, before we saw Ashake getting people crazy, Olamide was the one getting people crazy. He was the one that the culture would do anything to come and see.
Yeah, he was the guy.
So for me, as a fan, to see him now dropping verses like that, I could tell the GOAT is smelling blood.
Yeah, he's feeling it.
I can tell.
He's feeling it.
And we're trying to you see that little hand that he put out of the hole? We're trying to drag him out.
Everyone trying to drag him out.
We're trying to drag him out.
We need you.
Yo. He's one of them. And that brings us full circle back into our conversation. They're still in their prime. This is still the golden age of Afrobeats. Even though we're blessed to have the young ones, you know, your Remas and Omalays moving around, Ruga, for example. Now, the fastest rising Afrobeats artist in the culture is the Hurricane. He dropped an album in 2023 that didn't really go well. He lost a relationship with his label that a lot of us would have expected or wanted him to continue to have, putting him in a difficult position, having come from an album that hadn't done very well. Dope music, but just didn't do very well. Losing a relationship with his mentor, the person that discovered him and put him to the rest of the world. Finding himself in arguably the tightest corner musicians and entertainers find themselves in as a young man, to come into 2024, a collaborative project with his arch rival Benson, and then a global tour. Europe, United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand.
All over the place.
And of course the UK. And closing out the year with a hit record
with Tiwa Savage
featuring the Queen, Tiwa Savage.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's a fact. Yo.
Yeah, man, we're there.
We're here. We're here. And that's what I try to do. I try to make sure that my excitement for the culture and for the artists remain the same. I try to keep myself in a fan perspective. Last night I was at Drizzy Leak's show, one of the hottest rappers from Sierra Leone. at Pastor Tobi's party, a guy just made a beeline for me, and he introduced himself. My name is Drizzle Lake. You know, I'm from Sierra Leone. I see what you guys are doing for Afrobeats. I appreciate you. You know, I'm a dope rapper. I've come here in London to have a show, and I would like for you to come and watch me perform. I get that type of offer hundreds of times. But there was something in his energy that said to me,
just go.
Let me take it up. Yeah. So I gave him my phone number. I said, WhatsApp me, send me the details, and I'll show up. He sent me the details. It's on Friday, the same day as Tyla, one of my favorite DJs. Yeah. I was like, okay, I'll come to yours first and then go to Skylar's after. Yeah. I left my home at 7:30 in Essex, drove all the way to Clapham Grand, got out of the car. His set was at 9:12. I walked into the Clapham Grand. The Sierra Leoneans were up in the building. The place was packed. Yeah. And I was like, listen, I don't know what to expect here, but let me see this dude. This brother comes on stage. This is a rapper, a full live band. The place was electric. I didn't know, maybe I've heard one or two of his songs in the past, but I fell in love with everything. And then he introduced the young artists from Sierra Leone that's about to be killing it and saying these are the future. And one of those artists turns out to be therapist that sang My Head, My Neck, My Back, and I still want knack. Came out before, I was like, what? Yeah. And then a legend in Idris Elba showed up on stage.
Oh yeah, he was there, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So because of the way he approached me and the fan element that still resides inside of me, I decided to take myself almost 2 hours from my house to go and watch an artist that I rarely have listened to just to see what's happening there. And that's now how I've connected with the Sierra Leonean crowd and a bunch of new artists and culture from Sierra Leone.
That's what's up, man. That's what's
so
up.
You have to keep that fire burning.
Yeah.
Or else, you allow yourself the nonsense that those fans of social media do.
Yeah, to get to you, man. We don't need that, man. We don't need that.
Just leave them and just laugh. And some of the comments,
we don't need that.
I laugh, and sometimes I'll just laugh. On some of them, I'll just block and still be laughing.
We don't need that, man. That's crazy. Let's jump to the Grammys and that, yeah? So obviously the Grammys are out. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Everyone go crazy and all that, right?
Yep.
And we've seen some of the nominations was a bit head-scratching, right, for some people, right? For example, Sensational, Chris Brown, Wizkid, right?
Yes.
And everyone is asking, yo,
that Chris Brown is not an African artist.
Yeah, is he like an Afrobeat? Like, what was he doing down there?
Listen, man.
What do you think about that, though?
First of all, I've said it publicly and privately over the last 3 or 4 years that Chris Brown is welcome in our house any day.
That's a fact.
This was one of the first international entertainers to endorse not only Afrobeats, but Wizkid. Chris Brown endorsed Wizkid in 2013 after coming in contact with Wizkid in South Africa. Went to America, 106 and Park, and told the world he had learned a new dance called Azonto from a Nigerian artist by the name Wizkid. Shout outs to Wizkid. He's a dope brother from Nigeria. Since then, he's collaborated continuously with Davido
and Wizkid.
He's been to Lagos. He's collaborated with Rema, Fireboy. He's collaborated with Loj. The list goes on. He's on stage, he's celebrated the Afrobeats culture like we haven't seen from any other person that has tapped into that culture.
And you know what,
And Sensational is an Afrobeat song.
Do you know what? That's the crazy part of it, right? Because the album that he dropped, great album.
1111.
Yeah, great album. But then the song that got into the Grammys was
Sensational. He also got, I think he got the album he got a nomination in the best R&B album.
The best R&B one as well, yeah.
And then he got another one.
Yeah.
Listen, that's an Afrobeats record. That's number one. And number two, it features 2 Afrobeats artists.
And one of the greatest.
In Davido.
Yeah.
So if by quota, let's say, because there are 3 artists on the record, each one of them is 30%. 30% by Chris Brown is R&B. The 30% by Davido is Afrobeats. The 30% by
Lode
is that Afrobeats. That's 60% to 30%. Straight away, the Afrobeats trumps the R&B element there.
That's a fact.
So we go with the Afrobeats element.
That's a fact.
Simple.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So no argument. I know how some people might think like, but for me, Chris Brown's welcome in our house.
Oh yeah.
Any day. Because
He's one person that's always shown the love.
Not only does he represent the culture, he gives credit to
back.
it.
He gives back as well, yeah.
Brother, the amount of collaborations I've mentioned here, Chris Brown has no reason to be in a song with Lode.
That's a fact.
He's got no reason to be in a song.
And that's the thing, though. When I see people say stuff like that online and everything, I'm thinking, we are talking about Chris Brown.
No.
Like to me, it's MJ, Chris Brown, Usher.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Them singer dancer.
You don't need.
You know what I'm saying?
There's no reason to try to chase clout with anything. Everything that brother has done with our culture has been credible.
Yeah.
Nothing clout chasing, all credible.
Yeah.
So me, I don't have a problem with that nomination.
That category.
Yes. Best African Performance category.
That's a tight one.
Again?
That's a tight category, you know that.
So me, I've always had my public spats with the Grammys. My rant that went viral earlier on in the year, you know, after I'd felt that David and Burna deserved something, even though Tyla was a deserved winner.
We're gonna talk about that. Because she just swept the MTV. I mean, both the American one and the European one as well. Swept it.
Yeah.
Best Afrobeats.
Yes. Best African act, Best Afrobeats act, and Best R&B act in the one in Europe.
I don't know because she herself even came out and said that she doesn't do Afrobeats.
Yeah, but by the time she came to Europe, she was giving credit to Afrobeats this time. The conversation had changed.
Yeah, but...
because she was learning.
Yeah, but is she an Afrobeat artist, though?
Of course, she's from South Africa. She's Amapiano. She's identified with her own strain of music. But with Afrobeats being the leading genre from Africa, leading pop genre from Africa, that's broken the door.
Yeah.
For now, with the award categories and all this situation, that's what happened. But in my opinion, I don't think anybody needs to come out to say I'm not this or that.
Yeah.
You know, you're recognized because of your art and the popularity of your art, because you're a pop act coming out of Africa, you know, that's celebrated. We've seen that with Burna. We saw it with Wizkid. It completely tore the world upside down. Mm-hmm. Of course, Wizkid doubled down a little bit and explained a little bit deeper and stuff like that. But when we see our greats saying that, then it gives anybody the opportunity to also come out and say that. But credit to the young lady who is growing in front of millions of us. Yeah. She came to Manchester and she had a completely different thing to say.
Yeah.
It was giving credits and acknowledging the impact of Afrobeats and the doors that it had opened. Yeah. That led to her being, you know, awarded, nominated, and celebrated for making pop music coming out of Africa because of the doors that the greats had opened for her. You know, but the Best African Performance category, again, there was a big
conversation around
uproar earlier in the year because of the fact that this young lady had walked away with the award that had a category that had the hottest artists in Ashake and two of the greatest musicians from our culture in Davido and Burna Boy. We found it difficult to understand how anybody could have walked away with anything coming from the Love Damini album and tour, coming from the Davido album and tour, coming from the Ashake era. You know, that anybody out of those three didn't win. But again, you know, when you have three monsters from the same community nominated in a category, perhaps the voters were split. Yeah. Some knew who David were, voted for David. Some knew who Burna was, voted for Burna. Some knew who Ashake was, voted for Ashake. And there's this young lady that just came on the scene in September 2022 internationally. And I'm talking about noise-wise with Water. With Water, And between September and February, she had performed on late night television in America a couple of times. She had performed at the New Year's Ball in New York, performing to tens of millions of people on American television, selling to the white crowd, like we'd never seen before.
Yeah. She was
so if there was any white structure within the voting category,
of course,
which you understand that Grammys is an American award,
of course,
which would have that huge percentage, a lot of them would possibly have gone for the new act that was on American television that we saw as African before they start looking at the technicalities or the credibility of the other musicians in the group. So if you look at it that well, there's a possibility as to why she walked away with that award. But coming into this year and the nomination that came out, I believe that category, having only Nigerians,
it's gonna do justice.
Is a way for the Grammy Awards to say we don't want a situation where somebody else walks away with it and Nigeria says, you know what? Fuck the Grammys. We don't want any of our artists to be considered for this, and we're going to be doing our own thing. And is there a way of definitely ensuring that one way or another, it goes back home to Nigeria?
I think when I look at all that, right, and when I see the likes of Usher, with Fields and all that, and Chris Brown, all these guys and all that, it reminds me, I think we are in a phase of, do you remember 2009, 2010, 2011, when you had all the American artists jumping into house music? The Nicki Minaj, will.i.am, and all them. It became a huge phase at the time, right? I think we are in that phase at the moment.
No, I think with Afrobeats it's different. I think with Afrobeats there's a similarity to R&B. So
the melodic styles and
there's
everything.
a melody, your guitars, your bass, your drums. So people like Usher and Chris Brown and co consistently feel comfortable making this music. Chris Brown's been making Afrobeat type music and jumping on that for over 6, 7, 8, 9 years.
Absolutely.
So that shows that there's a rhythm to the genre that he likes. So I don't think it's that house phase, but it's great to see. And
no, it's amazing.
For me, I just think that the award organizations back home, Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, Kenya, whatever, I believe that, there are opportunities for them to step up with regards to their credibility. And I want the entertainers to also embrace these award organizations and go to these award organizations, celebrate these award organizations, really give these organizations encouragement to get better. Because if we don't, we'll find ourselves in a position where our artists will be looking up to LA and the Grammys, which is a detrimental thing for our culture.
To what we have going on,
All that said, nobody can take the credit, the credibility or the status of the Grammys that he has. Nobody can take that away, but we can definitely elevate our own. And, that category was great to see that Burna's in there, Ashake's in there, Davido's in there, Yemi Alade is in there, Thames is in there. Again, this is the prime. In that category, we've named 3 greats. Burna, there's Wiz, there's David, there's Burna, and there's Yemi Alade. In that category.
Do you know what you said that,
So that still means that they're in their prime.
Still in their prime. You said that, right? I'm going to ask you. I'm going to throw you a curveball right now, Who do you think in that category?
Yes.
If they are to ask you, if you're a betting man, to say, it's probably this person that will take it home.
First of all, if you look at all of them have a 20% chance. But now it's even more difficult because each one of them are known within the Afrobeats community. Burna has won one before. Anybody that's walked away with one before,
there's a chance.
Thames has walked away with a Grammy. Wiz has walked away with a Grammy. So these are names that already are known to those voters.
In-house,
So it's always, for me, without knowing anybody, once I know that people that have been nominated before, you always look at those as people that have the stronger chances of winning an award in this Grammy organization because they already have the what's it called? The fact that it's like Angelique Kidjo. One of the reasons why
she's a Grammy baby.
Yeah, one of the reasons why she continuously was successful was because she had won it before. So her name had become comfortable to the voters. So if you look at this category, Burna's won it before, and then he performed this year. So he has a strong chance. Wiz has won it before. Ashake is on fire. Thames is already great with the Americans.
Keep going.
And then when you look at Yemi Alade, that's a
dark horse for me right there.
That's a dark horse.
That's a dark horse for me right there.
Everybody knows that.
Have you heard that song?
Brother.
What are you talking?
Come on, man.
No. I'm just acting a rhetorical question because I know you have.
Of course. And the video, so for me, one of the reasons why that nomination was a pat on the back, like I said, with any nomination around the world, a pat on the back for Yemi Alade is because this is a recognition for an artist, a creative that knew her identity, her lane, and never changed.
Yeah, that's a fact. And also going back to what we said about Phyno and Flavour, Yemi has been around.
That's what I'm saying. Over 10 years ago.
She has been around.
So this is somebody whose music and brand has been consistent since 2014. Nothing changed about that brand. Even when the industry felt that, she wasn't, this wasn't working, but she's continued to prove people wrong by continuously touring. Every year, she's in like 30 or 40 countries with over 60 shows.
She has a cult following.
Which meant that when she got this Grammy nomination, I'll tell you a funny story. I broke the news to her.
Oh, for real?
Because she didn't know.
Shit.
Yeah, so I called her up.
Yeah.
And she was probably sleeping. And she was like, I'm like, yo, you got a Grammy nomination. And she was like, really? I said, yes. And for me, I just want to say to you, that's vindication. When she got an award win at Trace last year, that was vindication. Because she's one of those incredible talents that does not get the credit that's deserved.
She and people like Asha as well.
And when they get pats on the back from the likes of Trace Awards or Hip TV and now with Grammy nomination, it's vindication that your voice is important, your path is important, and your identity is important. He who knows their identity, a.k.a. Burna Boy, a.k.a. Wizkid, a.k.a. Davido, they will continue to be at the top. Now you see Olamide, now you see Thames, those are people that are strong in their path. They will never shift for no culture.
Nobody.
They're not going anywhere. Do you know that Burna Boy doesn't have an Amapiano song? Have you thought about that? Name me a Burna Boy Amapiano song.
Just thinking about it right now.
Yeah, give me one.
No, I'm thinking off the top of my head right now, bro.
You see? The fact that you're having to think this long shows you the conviction of the brother. That's not his thing, and he is not willing to compromise his own identity for what might be trending worldwide.
I mean, boy, he jumped on the Ashake thingy.
I said, give me a Burna
Boy. His own song. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. I hear that.
That's it. And it's all about identity. Even the record that was nominated, Higher. That's a record that if I tell you to tell me how the beat sounds, you don't ever know. You don't know, but you know.
That's like a throwaway.
But you know what he was saying in the record. So Burna Boy has gotten to a position that every musician under the sun wants to get to, where when he releases music, the most important element of that music are the words coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, that's fine.
And his tone. And those are the two things we remember with Burna Boy now. Nobody talks about, that crazy beat.
No. Nobody talks about that about him. Yeah.
That's identity.
It's what he's saying.
So that's identity.
Yeah.
That's identity. And that's the most important part of creativity.
Oh,
without an identity, a lot of people would not be able to last long.
Yeah,
so all of these guys that we're talking about 10, 12, 14, 15 years deep is because their identity was clear. That's what you see in Yemi Alade.
Yeah, bro. What took them too long? What took them so long to recognize her?
I don't think anything like, again, I said last year she was awarded at the Trace Awards. A couple years ago, she picked up an award at the Heis Hip TV Awards. She's been on Grammy nominated and winning albums with Angelique Kidjo.
Yeah.
You know, so she's always been in the mix. But again, hers is also special because in that category, Yemi Alade is the only independent musician.
Yeah. That category is tight, yeah. And for her to make it in
there,
there,
only independent musician.
For her to make it in there,
in that category,
and that's the reason why I think, and that's just why I think that.
And then another thing that I also wanted to emphasize in that category, there are a couple musicians that marketed their albums globally. Ashake had a listening in LA, in London, and maybe Lagos. Thames had a listening in Lagos, London, I believe Paris, New York, and LA. Rema had a listening in Toronto, New York, London, Lagos, and maybe Paris. Yemi Alade had a listening in Lagos, London, Paris, and New York. Each one of those artists in that category, a lot of those guys had marketed themselves beyond their markets.
Yeah, internationally.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's where we are right now.
So to be noticed in anywhere outside of your region, you will have to dip your hands in your pocket and spend. And as an independent artist that she is, that's the most difficult things for musicians to do. But she's taught herself from day one that is one of the ways that she's going to keep herself relevant in this game.
Yeah, in this game. Yeah.
And I want to applaud her and applaud people like Tiwa Savage, female musicians that spend their own money
doing their thing.
To ensure that they match up with the brothers.
Yeah.
Whereas other musicians would have been successful over the last 10, 12 years, spent it all on chains and women and stuff, and now struggle to put pay a music plugger, a video plugger, pay bloggers to post their records. These young ladies
are investing
consistently. It's not a question when it comes to these things.
Yeah.
So they deserve special applause because they would inspire the next generation of either independent artists, aka Yemi Alade, or female musicians, aka Tiwa Savage, that want to compete at the global level.
Yeah. That's a fact. I'm happy for her, man. Because I know that she's one of them people that like literally put in work, to get to where she is.
She hasn't been handed anything.
No, she's nothing.
Whether it's stages where you see her performing, it's like Burna Boy, Burna Boy has not been handed anything.
Yeah.
Yemi Alade hasn't been handed anything.
She going there and took it.
Flavour and Phyno hasn't been handed anything.
Going there and took it.
Olamide Bado has not been handed anything because these are names that are going against the grain.
Yeah.
Flavour sings in Igbo, had to come to Lagos to break the grounds. Olamide raps in Yoruba. To go international, people had tried to tell him to rap in English, He had to stick to his own identity to break grounds. Yemi Alade had continuously been African when even being African wasn't cool.
Yeah, she
wasn't. Stuck to that identity to break grounds. So that those are the people. Burna Boy would not have been where he is today if he was not great a
within
musician
himself.
In the studio and on stage.
Yeah.
Especially because our culture was very used to only having one or maybe two at a time. So at the fact that we had chosen Wizkid by our hearts and we were just now also opening the door to another person in Davido, then there's another one that's rearing in the corner. So
waiting.
the culture was not even
ready
opening his doors.
Yeah.
So he had to go and say, all right, y'all could keep all that.
I'm going to climb in through the window and kick it out.
Let me do my own thing.
Yeah.
So whilst he's doing his own thing, everybody's now picking to this. Like,
yeah, what's the guy doing over there?
This guy is. What you do, yato?
Yeah, what's going on over there?
So that's it. It's all credit.
Yeah.
You know, all these guys, all credit.
Yeah.
Flavour and Phyno, all credit.
All these guys, yeah.
Olamide Bado, all credit.
That's a fact.
Burna Boy, all credit. Yemi Alade, all credit.
That's a fact.
Nothing.
Nothing was given to
They
these
didn't
people.
have
They
any
took it.
chairman. They didn't have any backbone. They didn't have nothing. The game was actually going against them because of their difference.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. Who are the biggest snobs?
Ira.
That's my number one. Because that album was so good. This year, that album was so good.
I just love Ira Star, man. Like
that album was so good.
BN from Kenya. Incredible album. Amazing entertainer. And has had one of the best 12 months that we've seen from any artist from Africa. Chibu, a.k.a. Mufasa, a.k.a. Simba, a.k.a. Diamond Platnumz. Had one of the biggest records of the year. Kama Sava. Definitely a huge snub for me. So those, for me, the biggest pains, Ira the Star, BN from Kenya, Diamond Platnumz.
Yeah.
Those three stand out to me, without doubt. More than anybody else.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Ira Star, man. I was hoping to see her in there,
I'm
man.
a big fan.
Yeah, I was
of
hoping
hers.
to see her in there and everything, and I was like, damn, they didn't recognize her and everything.
I'm a big, but again, this is a young lady who is building a completely different path right in front of our eyes.
For herself, yeah.
For herself. She's just 21. This year, she's dropped an album. She's gone on tour with Chris Brown.
Yeah.
She's now on tour with Coldplay.
Yeah. That's a fact.
Building.
That's a
So
fact.
there's time. Yeah. And I believe she's coming back to clean out, whether it's at the Heis, Sound City, or any award ceremony, anywhere. This young lady is going to be there for a long time.
No, she's gonna be a problem. Yeah. She's gonna be a problem.
I'm a huge disciple.
Yeah, she's gonna be
I
a problem.
believe.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Listen, man, it's been a good one, though. It's been
Thank
a good
you.
one. It's been a good one.
I appreciate it, brother.
Listen, I appreciate you all the time, man.
Same here, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Thanks for
Anytime
having
I balls you on everything, you be like, yeah, bro, I'm pulling up and all that.
Straight
bro.
away.
You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you and all that. You know,
you,
the love is mutual and all that.
Same here.
You know what I'm
Same
saying?
here,
I will always love you for that, man.
Thank
for
you,
real.
man. Thank you.
You know what I'm
It's the
saying?
same. It's
You
the
know, and obviously, you know, the viewers, the listeners and all that, they always love it when you come around.
Appreciate it, man.
You know what I mean?
Thank
Because
you.
the conversations are good and everything.
We're talking
You know
about
what I'm saying?
something we love.
Nana Range Rover.
You know
We're
what I'm
talking
saying?
about something we love.
Yeah, for real.
Our culture.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure to be here. And, you know, Fresh Off the Boat podcast is family.
Yeah.
And you can also check out the Afrobeats podcast. Check out Energy God.
There you go.
Check out the
It's
whole
everywhere.
team.
On
It's all
YouTube,
there, you know,
you know?
follow on social media and support the culture, man.
For real.
Support
For
us.
real.
Thank you
real,
for
for
having
real.
me, man.
Thank you, bro. Listen. Salute to you guys out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Salute to all the freshers around the world. You could be anywhere in the world, but you were right here with us. And for that, we salute you, Lord. This is Fresh Off the Boat podcast. This is the Afrobeats podcast. Host Adeshope, a.k.a. Shopsy Do, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, there is no one like him in this culture, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you,
So
bro.
listen, as you're watching this right now, also go and subscribe to his channel as well.
Afrobeats podcast.
Afrobeat podcast. While you subscribe to ours as well, you know, share the videos, leave a like, leave a comment, share it, tell a friend to tell a friend, or tell an enemy to tell a friend, because they go friends too. You know what I'm saying? Until next time.
Peace.
Salute.